Thanks for the support as a channel member, Stuart Welsh. Well, after yesterday's Bayern Munich heroics, today we face Atletico Madrid. We need more heroics. Hello and welcome to part 119 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we face Atletico Madrid in the Champions League and Tottenham in the Premier League. These episodes recently are becoming like a who's who of teams I've managed on YouTube before. Obviously, we beat Bayern yesterday, and hopefully we keep that run going against both Atletico and Tottenham. Not just because we've... Obviously, you saw us lose against Reading yesterday. We then got ourselves knocked out of the EFL Cup, which isn't a big deal. And we did play a fairly heavily rotated team, as you can see there. It would have been nice to go a little bit further, but I think it's close to impossible, especially with a reasonably small squad, certainly first team level squad, to compete in both domestic cups and the Champions League and try and qualify for the Champions League again. Something's got to give. It's usually the EFL Cup, so I'm not massively upset about that. But then we went to Everton and only managed a draw. And Christian Gomez hasn't scored since the intro to the last episode when I told you how great he was. Also known as he hasn't scored since I played him when he was injured. So, looking back, probably shouldn't have done that. But hopefully, he's back to goal-scoring form today as we have our first ever European night at Milking Nook. Obviously, we already have 3 points on the board in our Champions League campaign. If we can have another heroic night here, let's make Milking Nook a European fortress that teams fear coming to. It's going to be a small stadium, full to the brim, hostile atmosphere from the Lincolnshire faithful. Watch us lose massive. I'm building this up too much. I know we're going to lose. So we're going with Mazinho in goal, a back four of Regulus, Da Silva, Diaz and Arango. That's an Arango who's not fully fit, but he's playing because we spent a lot of money on him, so he has to play. Sarmiento and Mira in midfield. Why are they both on a defensive instruction? That feels... If that's how they were lined up against Everton, that feels a little bit like a reason why we were a bit rubbish going forward against Everton, if our entire midfield sat back. And then Cook, Ricardo and Cernajacki supporting Gomez up front. And look at the contrast between Gomez's season average and last 5 games average. His form is in free fall. I mean, 7.12 is still a good average, but I want him to go back to that 11 goals from 5 games form we had at the start of the season. I realise it's not realistic to expect that long term, but since when have I ever been about realism? Goodness me. Right, let's do a team. I mean, we've got to do the underdog team talk, haven't we? Even though we're at home. We've got to go into this expecting to lose because it's Atletico Madrid, for goodness sake. Are Bayern playing in their game now? They must be, because if they've only drawn against Zenit, no, there you go, they're now ahead against Zenit almost immediately. I was going to say that's a terrifyingly poor start to the Champions League for Bayern if they had drawn against them, and does put our win over them in a little bit of context. Look at that. How often do you get a ladder and a floodlight pylon in a Champions League TV match? Cernajacki with the corner. Gomez and Da Silva both hovering at that far post, but neither of them able to get to the ball. And someone did mention in the comments yesterday, we're just going to stick this onto data analyst view for a second. Someone did mention, no, not direct to view, direct data analyst view and zoom out. We're only having 4,000 seats added to what was previously a 12,500 seat stadium. Our capacity has been reduced by 1,000 while that rebuild goes on, but apparently we're rebuilding 2 sides of the ground. So previously, these 2 stands could fit 11,000 people in, and the other 1,500 were spread across these 2. I think there's something afoot there, but the ground's going to look pretty when it's done, when the ladder's gone, and that should. I think it's due to be done before Christmas. There's quick work going on. Right, Sarmiento tackles the referee beautifully, but then the Atletico player wins it back from him. Almost seems a little bit pointless getting the tackle in on the referee, and there's a counter-attack here for Atletico, and we need somebody to get a foot in. This is where we want Mira. Where's Mira? Where is he? He's just hovering around in the middle, waiting for the right opportunity. Diaz, though, does get the tackle in, and Mira releases Cernajacki for a counter-attack of his own, and he's come infield, and he's got many, many options ahead of him and outside him. Cernajacki's still going. It ends up falling to Regulus, who crosses in. It falls to Sarmiento, and the shot is blocked. That felt like a counter-attack that was ending in a goal. Diaz gives it back to Arango. The attack is still going on. Arango does really well to keep hold of the ball there under a lot of pressure. Plays it into Cernajacki, who skips past his man again. That's taken a huge deflection. Is that a Gomez goal? It's not. It's an own goal. That Cernajacki with the cartwheel. And I mean, that's just an enormous deflection, I think. Let's have a little look at this. So Arango did brilliantly. Cernajacki is up for this today. Just dances past his man, fires it across goal. It's one of those dangerous cross-come shots that it either goes in, it gets a deflection and goes in, or it acts as a cross and someone taps it in. And you just play the odds with a shot like that. And he won. He got the deflection. And Gomez is in behind here. Crosses to Cernajacki, who's there again. And we're 2-0 up against Atletico Madrid. Milking Nook has never seen anything like it. Cernajacki he's playing like he wants to transfer to a club like this. I mean, if that's how he uses the Champions League this year, to just systematically tear apart every team we play to try and get himself his big move, I'm all for it, because he is playing incredibly well today. We need to up his release clause again. Oh, my word. Right, Cook I thought he was going to try and turn and counter-attack, but instead flicks it onto Gomez, and we're attacking with pace again here. Cernajacki has found Cook, who continued his run. Cook's got support in the middle. He's not needing the support. He's actually been fouled. And we've got a penalty here, I think. Referee points to the spot, and on 34 minutes, we've got the opportunity to go 3-0 up against Atletico Madrid. Christian Gomez, and he scores. And it is, I mean, this is absurd. 34 minutes in, it is Bourne Town 3, Atletico Madrid 0. That is a scoreline I never thought I would get the opportunity to say. Certainly not this early into our life as a Premier League club, as a Champions League club. We've just stumbling. I mean, we stumbled across Cernajacki and Gomez, both cheap, both in the same window. Our first transfer window as a Premier League club, and we found Christian Gomez and Mitar Cernajacki. If anyone's wondering how things are going so well for Bourne, how we're fast forwarding the save so much, that's why, because our scouts found them too, and they're match-winning, difference-making heroes. Right, Diaz plays it all the way back to Mazzinho. Who in turn gives it to Da Silva. He tries to get the move going again. Sarmiento just pinging it forward, looking for Cernajacki's run. Gomez is also trying to find Cernajacki, and Cernajacki's there, and it is 4-0. And this is ridiculous. That's 2 goals in 2 minutes. Atletico do not know what has hit them. They've got to put those floodlight pylons on the highlights at least 4 times. Because Cernajacki, have you ever seen... I mean, it's rare to have your best player by miles. Cernajacki is our best player by miles. We all know that. But to see your best player so up for it in a game, he is chasing down every ball. He is trying to get something moving every time the ball comes near him. I have never seen anyone play with this kind of determination. Cook does brilliantly, and he's just danced past 2 players. Surely we're not going to make it 5 before half-time. Oh, this is the kind of performance that gets managers sacked, surely. How does Atletico's manager stay in a job after this? After this, we're Bourne. We are Bourne Town Football Club. We were the 4th seeds for this Champions League group, and we're going to be top of the group 2 games in. And already edging close to a knockout round, which is just insane. Regulus now winning the ball. Oh, it's Ricardo. I thought it was Regulus. Ricardo doing a good job of chasing down. We've barely seen Ricardo today. That's how involved everyone else has been. Ricardo's just been quietly going about his business, but obviously working just as hard as everybody else. And Gomez is in here, and surely with the goalkeeper out of position, it's number 5. It's Christian Gomez. It's his cartwheel again. It's 13 goals of the season already for him. It's only the 1st of October, and this Atletico's heads have gone. Look at the state of this. It's a terrible, terrible attempt at a pass. The goalkeeper's miles out of position, and Gomez does well to round the keeper, tuck it in from a tight angle, and then does the Gaza celebration and the cartwheel. That's how you know he's having a good time. Oh my goodness. 5-0 to Bourne. I was not expecting... I mean, if I'd have known putting on my party shirt would lead to us playing like this, I'd have been wearing it all the time. Has this got to be my Champions League shirt now? Because if we carry on playing like this, we're going to be in it for a while, and this shirt is going to stink. But goodness me. I've never seen anything like it. Cernajacki now with the corner. De Silva's there. De Silva's there again. We've got 2 men on a hat-trick. And we very nearly have made it 6. Imagine the amount of noise coming out of this little ground in the middle of a field in Lincolnshire. We want 6. Oh, my word. Hawaiian shirts for everyone. Right, we're going to take Cook off, bring Juninho on, because, you know, I'm chairman of the Juninho fan club, so any opportunity to get him on the pitch is an opportunity well received, and Ariel can come on for Ricardo. How strong is our bench now, by the way? We have assembled a really, really good young squad. We've got 4 or 5 genuine wonder kids. The rest of the squad are all young and getting better all the time as well. We have put together... I know people like to joke about the transfer debt in the comments. We've got less than 180 million pounds worth of transfer debt, which, yes, it seems like a lot, but, you know, for context, we are a Champions League club, and that has built us this team. We don't need to go out and spend 100 million pounds again next summer with this team, surely. Right. What are we going to do for our final change? Arango was tired before the game, wasn't he? So he probably is the man who needs to come off. Henshaw can come on for him. Diaz can go out to right back, and then Henshaw can just switch into that role. Diaz should not be a complete wing back. Just be a normal wing back. Normal wing back. Everyone's happy. Well, and here's Diaz. Long throw. Can we make it 6? Cernajacki challenging the keeper again. And this time the keeper does manage to keep hold of the ball. The 550 fans who've travelled here from Spain, they're going to have a miserable flight home, aren't they? And Ariel's first to an interception again. We're all up for it constantly. Cernajacki. I want hat-tricks for these boys. Diaz now looking for the overlap on the right-hand side. Gomez with this shot, and it ends up being cleared, but only as far as Mira, because again, we're the first to everything. Regulus with the long throw. Gomez was out. I thought it was Cernajacki because it was from a throw, but for once, Gomez is getting involved with the long throws. Mira picking up the scraps again. He's had a good game as an unsung hero. Cross comes in from Mira, and the goalkeeper makes that look far more spectacular than it needed to be, presumably trying to justify his existence after the terrible game that he's had. Although, to be fair, rating-wise, he's the best player in their team, which says an awful lot. So Henshaw with the flick on. Cernajacki was in. And now it's a counter-attack for Atletico. Are they going to get themselves a consolation goal? I'd be sad if they did. I don't... Yeah, there you go. We don't want goals going in at the other end. We want to be able to say we beat Atletico 5-0. I said in yesterday's episode that the result against Bayern Munich is probably the biggest, most important, most impressive result in the history of this club. I think we've just topped it again. And talking of topping things, we're top of our group, 2 games in. And Bayern have drawn or are drawing with Zenit. Bayern potentially at risk of not qualifying 2 games in. Henshaw with the flick on. Because you've got to look at that group and think it's good. Based on where we are now, it's going to be us plus 1 of Atletico and Bayern. And for them to not win either of their first 2 games against Bourne and Zenit, they've still got to play Atletico twice. They've got to play us again at our place. Bayern Munich are in trouble. And we are having a lovely, lovely time. Now watch us go and get thumped by Spurs, because as we learnt yesterday, the Champions League hangover is real. Some very exciting Cernajacki news leading into the Tottenham game. Firstly, he's been rightly recognised as a world-class player. He's done the upgrade from wonder kid straight to world-class. it's a pretty solid upgrade to take. Full 5 stars now. Even more exciting than that note, though, he's just agreed a new contract with us. It's not fully signed yet, but he's agreed it. It takes him up to £120,000 a week, but removes the release clause. There will be no minimum fee release clause on Sernajaki's new contract that he is on the verge of signing. We could potentially keep him forever, build a team around him. I'm so excited. We've made a couple of... and off the back of that, I've dropped him for the Tottenham game. He's being rested. He played out of his skin against Atletico and he's shattered. And Bellico hasn't started a game for us yet. And when we signed him, I know Sernajaki's gone up another level this year, but when we signed him, star rating-wise, Bellico was on a level with Sernajaki. Now, Sernajaki's gone up another couple of levels this year, but Bellico's a good player. He played a season at Barcelona and averaged a 7.34. He's a very good player. Plus, he's a former Arsenal player, so bringing him in against Tottenham just seems like a good idea. And we're also resting Mira, who, again, has played his socks off. And I think the big weakness our squad has got now is we've only got one Paul Mira. The fans sing it all the time, and I thought they just liked him, but apparently they were sending me a message. It's a fault in the squad. We've only got one Paul Mira. We need another one. We need another guy in there to break everything up, to play the Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira role, break everything up, and let Sarmiento do his thing, and let the front three do their thing, and let the fullbacks push on. And the only other player we've got in the squad who I think could do it is Arnautovic, and I don't know if I can play him. We need to address this problem in January, though. Do we play Arnautovic? I haven't. So I've brought Ariel to play alongside Sarmiento today. I wonder if I'll regret it. I'm probably going to regret it. But we do need another. We need another Paul Mira, another player just like that who can. Because quite apart from anything else, when we're resting Mira like we are today, it doesn't just mean we don't have Mira, but it also changes what Sarmiento's doing, and then we lose what Sarmiento offers us going forward as well. Ricardo's done well there to intercept. It's pouring with rain here at Milking Nook today. And of course, Orlando in the Tottenham team, who we sold in the summer to finance the move that brought Arango in. And interestingly as well, the guy we almost bought instead of Arango, I can't remember his name, the cheap guy who was the comparison that I ended up going for Arango, Norwich signed him as their replacement for Arango. So he's also now made it to the Premier League. In other news as well, I just checked on Gomez. I'm going to show you this in a second. After this highlight, Bellico's in there, but he's missed out on the ball. I mean, it's awful conditions with this rain pouring down. Perhaps it was a day for Arnautovic to just be a big midfield thug and be 6'5" and break everything up. But Gomez, if you're wondering why he was so good in all these Champions League games, his biggest his most important hidden quality is he doesn't just like big matches, he thrives on playing big matches. Like I said, being able to pick up Sernajaki and Gomez in our promotion season, or at the end of our promotion season, cheap. I mean, both of them less than 10 million quid. That's got to be the transfer window of the series. And Arango's got himself sent off here. Orlando's just giggling. And how much of that do we put down to the fact he hasn't got Mira protecting him? Let's not read too much into it, but I should be reading exactly that into it. I think I'm going to take off Ricardo and bring on Henschel. And Diaz can go there. And already it looks like it's not going to be a very nice day for us. Down to 10 men. Not got our best player on because we're resting him. Ariel looks like he's picked up a knock, actually, so maybe I should have taken him off rather than Ricardo, although his condition is recovering now. But now it's drifting back down again, so that's going to be a problem because we don't have another central midfielder on the bench. Diaz with the big throw, but there's no one there to get on the end of it. And these games after Champions League games, they frustrate me. They frustrate me so much. And until we get to the point where we've got 20 world-class players in our squad, which we're a few years away from, there's not really much of a solution other than, I guess, just setting up to defend in these games and trying not to lose them. Gomez now plays it back to Bellico. Bellico skips past his man and shoots from range. And if he sticks that in the top corner, all of a sudden, you get cheerful Kev back. I should take this shirt off. I will put another one on, but I can't wear my party shirt if we're not having a party. Regulus plays it back to Da Silva, who's retreating very quickly. He did not want the ball there. Henschel, though, plays it into Bellico, and we saw the net bulge, but I think it's because the goalkeeper fell into it. But we do now have a corner just before half-time. We are taking control of this game a little bit. Bellico with the in-swinging corner. Da Silva can't get onto the end of it, but is there to chase it down, pick up the scraps, win us another corner. So can we grab... I think we deserve a goal the way we're playing in this run-up to half-time. Cook with the corner. Da Silva's there. What's happened there? Da Silva handballed, apparently. And we're now having another look. This is the chance from Bellico that looked like it had crossed the line, but there's your confirmation that it didn't. But we all saw the net move. So I think it did. I think that was wrong. I think we've been cheated there. Right, an over a man down. There's no pressure on you to get results today. Just go play with confidence, have some fun. I don't really want to say that. Tottenham are below us in the league. They obviously finished below us in the league last year. I genuinely think we've been the better team in that first half. Although we've been down to 10 men. I think if we'd have kept Arango on, we'd be ahead in the game by now. I know I've gone on about the Champions League hangover again, but I don't think we've necessarily been affected by it today because we have had more shots. We had more of the possession, although Tottenham have got back into it a little bit now. Bellico with the in-swinger. Da Silva's there, and it's just over from Da Silva, and we are getting some chances from these set pieces. We need to convince Gomez this is a big game, but there's going to be no convincing him it's a big game, and we've not selected Cernajacki for it. I mean, like he's going to believe that. Let's bring Juninho on to play up front, and I think we'll take off Cook and bring on Gervin, and we're just trying to go a little bit more... We're not trying to go more attacking, but we're trying to bring on options who might score us goals, because the entire front three not been that special today. It's the difference of not having Cernajacki there, clearly. And now Orlando, former Bourne man, taking the throw for Tottenham. Sarmiento does well to win the ball back, though. And then, rather than his usual well-placed through ball, just lumps it forward. And again, the difference between having him on a defend and a support instruction. It would normally be Mira winning the ball, laying it off to him, and Sarmiento can pick a pass. We need another Mira. And there, of course, is your hangover goal from the Tan Man. Right. Don't want to see the replay. Demand more. Go attack him. We're just going to have to make peace with the fact we're not going to finish top 4 in the Premier League this year, because we're having Champions League fun, which I guess is fine. The board still aren't... we've got one of those seasons where the board are still just expecting us to be bottom half. So let's finish mid-table and have fun in the Champions League and try and win the FA Cup. Never mind, eh? I'm gonna yell a little bit and say, look, we've got to do better in these games after Champions League games, because there's going to be 10 or 12 of them over the course of most seasons when we're doing well, and we can't have 10 or 12 Premier League games a year where we're rubbish. How's Orlando getting one? Did he score the goal? Oh no, it was Oz. No. Orlando gets one over on Bourne, my eye. We were down to 10 men. We'd have been fine. Right. We'll be back tomorrow with probably the Bayern game. We'll play the 2 Zenit games off camera, and we'll do Man United and Bayern, at which point, if Zenit goes well, which I hope it does, we could be in a position to not only secure our knockout round position, but potentially knock Bayern out of the Champions League, which would be huge. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.